friends, it's Shelley from Koala Knits and Knacks. Thank you so much for joining me. In this tutorial, we're going to make this beautiful basket stitch scarf. I'm calling it a pass-through scarf because there's a little pass-through pocket there that you put the one end through to hold it in place, and it just looks so pretty. I am using US 13 or 9mm needles. I'm using circular knitting needles, but you can use single point straight needles too, and it would be totally fine, 9mm. And I'm also using 3 different kinds of yarn, and if you go to the description box below, you'll see all the yarn particulars there. I don't want to take the time to mention them here at the beginning of the video, so check down there and you'll see the yarn choices that I used. Now this scarf, from fringe to fringe, end of fringe to end of fringe, is 58 inches long. So it wraps beautifully around my neck with it not being too long. Once it's wrapped this way, it's not too long and bulky and getting in the way. You can just tuck it underneath your jacket really nice and easily, and it's beautiful. This is a sweater, of course, but when you got your winter jacket on, it's the same kind of idea. So that's what it's like when you wrap it around your neck like that. And if you take it off, I'm going to just put it in half there and wrap it in the middle. Hopefully my yellows are matching up just like that. And you can let it hang just like that too. And it looks beautiful that way as well. If you wanna, again, use your pass-through, there it is. Just take this one a little bit shorter, make this one longer, pass it through, just like that, and you have another look. And it'll stay in place. So we're going to make this scarf together, and I hope that you are part of my Facebook group, and when you're finished making your scarf, come on over, post a picture, let me see, and let us cheer you on. So thanks again for joining me. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and support my channel in that way. I'd appreciate that so much. So friends, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Can't wait to see your scarf. I have my US 13 9mm knitting needles. I just got these needles and I love them so much. They are the Luca. Now, some people say Likey, but I did my research. It's actually Luca, and I absolutely love them. So I am using that set, and I have my cord attached already, and I'm going to do a slip knot. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a yarn tail that's long enough to do 25 stitches. So all I do is I just pull it across and pull it across like that at an arm span length, and that's enough. Arm and a half span length would be probably perfect. Then I'm going to take, this is the tail that I measured. I'm going to take that, wrap it around my finger and cross it over like that. Pick up that loop and pull on it. You probably have your way of making your slip knots, and I don't even have to show you that because if you're doing this project, you probably know how. But if you don't, if you're a beginner, you can still learn this project because I'm not a seasoned knitter yet either. And I wanted to start my knitting on my channel at that place in my knitting so that anybody could follow along and enjoy making beautiful things with me. If you're not an intermediate or an expert knitter, we'll get there. We are going to take our yarn. Now, the yarn that is in our cake or in our ball is going to go away from you up there. And our yarn tail that we just measured out is going to be closest to your body. And we are going to do a long tail cast on. So to do that, I'm going to take both strands over my 3 fingers, close my 3 fingers, take my index finger and my thumb and spread them apart, and I've got a triangle. This loop on my needle counts as my first stitch. Then I'm going to tip up my hand. I see 1, 2, and 3 strands. You're going to go under number 1, over number 2, over number 3, grab number 3 and bring it between 1 and 2, and then pull on your tail. That gives us 2 loops on our needle. Again, take it into my 3 fingers, put my index finger and my thumb in between, separate it to look like a triangle, tip up my hand, 1, 2, and 3, go under 1, over 2, over 3, grab 3 and bring it between 1 and 2, then pull your little tail. So easy. And you're going to do that for 25 stitches, pulling them down your needle as you go along. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to continue till I have 25 loops on my needle. I have 25 stitches on my needle. So I am going to now, you can cut your tail, whatever's left, a little bit shorter if you want. I am going to actually cut mine a little tiny bit shorter, so it's not in my way. I'm going to bring my needle around, and again, friends, you don't need to use circular knitting needles. You can use straight needles for this project and it will work just fine. We have a 4-row repeat that we're going to be doing throughout this pattern, but we need to start with a row that is not included in the 4-row repeat. And that is just to set us up and to get us started. And we're going to purl all the way across. So I'm going to take my needle, have my yarn in the front like that. I'm going to go into that first stitch. I'm going to yarn over and I'm going to bring it through, take it off. I'm going to go into that next stitch and I'm going to purl, and I'm going to purl all the way down my row. Now I'm purling on this side, but when it's on the other side, it looks like a knit stitch. And so this is the back side of our work that we're setting up here. So when we turn our work and do our first row, it'll be on the right side of our work. So I'm going to purl all 25 stitches down the row. Again, this is not counting in our 4-row repeat. I love these needles. I tried a variety. I started out, I have these Susan, what are they called? Can't even remember now. They're plastic needles. Sorry, I'll link them down below. I started out with those. Oh, Denise, they're Denise circular knitting needles, and they're plastic. I started with those, and then there was a rave about bamboo needles, so I just recently bought the Clover Takumi set, the whole set, and I tried them out, and my stitches stuck really bad to the needles. I didn't like them at all, actually. And so many people love bamboo, but it's all in how it works for you. So I sent those back. Then I bought the Nova ones. They're metal. I bought a whole set of those, Knit Pro Nova, and it slid off the needle so fast that I didn't like those either, to be honest. So then I tried these ones, and these are the Luca, and they're driftwood. And to me, they're a perfect combination between the bamboo and the metal, because they have a glossy kind of a finish on them. And so they don't stick like the bamboo did, but they don't slide as easily as the metal did. So I think for me, they're perfect, and I just love them, and they're beautiful looking needles too. So I will link those down in the description below. Please, if you order them, click on my link first, and then go there, because I'm part of the Amazon Associates program, and it will help support my channel. But all that to say, I absolutely love these needles. So there we go. We have our setup row done. We've purled all 25 stitches across. We're going to turn our work just like that. Our yarn tail from our work is always on our back needle. So if this ever gets caught down on your line here and you think, which is the side that I work from? This one is always in the back. And of course you're gonna work from the side where your yarn is coming out. But now we're gonna start our 4-row repeat. Row 1, knit all the way across your row. So now you see the purls that we did on that other side. On this side, they look like a knit stitch. So we're now knitting all the way across our row. And this cord is beautiful too. It doesn't twist. The one on both of those other sets, it curled, and it was just not nice for me. And again, some of you might absolutely love both of those. I know that you do, because I did a survey in my Facebook group, and both of those other sets were popular. But so far, I honestly, for my benefit, for the way I knit and for what my desires are, this is by far the superior set. I absolutely love it. Love, love, love it. And I'm, you know, not endorsed to say that. So just so you know, I'm knitting all the way across. This is row 1. Mark that down on your paper. And 25. There we go. You can't see any patterning yet, of course, but soon you will be able to. That was row 1 of our patterning. Knit across. You're going to turn your work. Make sure this is all down in its rightful place. Not twisted. And we're going to work row 2 as a purl row underneath into that first stitch. And we're going to purl all the way across for row 2. Smooth them out just like that and purl all the way across your row, making sure that your tail stays in the front. You don't want to get it caught back there and then keep purling because it's not going to be a correct stitch. So always have your yarn in the front like that and then purl. Row 2 is purl. I'll see you when you get to the end. Finishing up my 25th stitch. There we go. I've purled that. I can drop that other needle, turn my work, bring this back around. We have now completed row 2 of our patterning. So our first row was our setup row. We did a row of purls, then we turned our work. Row number 1 of the 4-row repeat was knit across. Row 2 of the 4-row repeat was purl across. Now we're going to do row 3. This is my favorite row. I think it's so much fun. We're going to knit the first stitch. Then we're going to leave our yarn tail back there and we're going to go into the next stitch as though to purl. So we're, instead of going this way, we're going to go this way and just slip it off. Then we're going to go into the next stitch and knit. Go into the next one, leave your tail back here, go into the next one from right to left and just slip it off. Into the next one, knit. The next one, slip it off. The next one, oh, caught around I'm stepping on my yarn tail. There we go. Next one, knit and slip. Knit. Leave your yarn tail back here. Slip off as though you're picking it up like a purl. Knit, slide those up and slip. Knit and slip. Knit and slip all the way down the row. You'll get really fast at doing that and it's so much fun. Knit and slip. Knit and slip. I added my white tray. I thought maybe it would help you to see a little bit better. Knit and slip and knit and slip, and you will knit the last one. That's row 3 of the 4-row repeat completed. Turn your work. We're going to work on row 4, which is almost as fun. Almost as fast and almost as fun. Row 3 is my favorite. We're going to knit the first stitch of row 4. Then in row 3, we just picked off the next one for a slip purlwise, but now we have to bring our yarn in front, then slip it off purlwise. Then take it to the back and knit the next one. Then bring it to the front and slip it purlwise. Take it to the back and knit. Get that tail out of the way. Bring it to the front and slip off purlwise. Take it to the back and knit. This is fun too. To the front and slip. To the back and knit. This is row 4. To the front and slip. To the back and knit. To the front and slip all the way down the row. And slip. So the difference from row 3 is that you have to bring it to the front before you slip that stitch purlwise. And then take it back to the back for the knit. And knit. And slip. And knit your last stitch. Row 4 complete. So friends, that's not hard. You're going to have to do one more set of patterning, even 2 more before you're going to be able to start to see the pattern, but it's going to be beautiful. And now we have done our setup row that we did as purls, and we did our 4 rows of row 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to repeat those last 4 rows. And you're going to do that repeat 3 more times. All right, so I'm going to repeat row 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the second time. Then 1, 2, 3, 4 for the third time. Then 1, 2, 3, 4 for the 4th time. All right, let me get you started here. Row 1 is knit across, all the way across. I'll get you started on every row for this next repeat, this next section. So I'm going to knit all the way across for row 1. I'll see you at the end. Row 1 of the 4-row repeat done. Turn your work. Row 2. You're going to purl across all 25 stitches. Now you can make this scarf as wide as you want by adding more stitches and making an odd number. Too late at this point if you've already started, but I did mention that at the beginning of the video too. All right, purl the second row. There we go. I've purled the last stitch. Turn your work. We're going to do row 3. Knit 1. And slip 1 purlwise. Leave your yarn at the back there. Slip 1. Knit 1. Slip 1 purlwise. Knit 1. Slip 1 purlwise all the way down. And knit the last one. Row 3 of our 4-row pattern repeat done. There we go. Turn your work. Got a long hair hanging off of here. And row 4 of the 4-row pattern repeat. Knit the first one. Bring your yarn to the front and slip the next one purlwise. Bring your yarn to the back, knit the next one. Bring your yarn to the front, slip the next one purlwise. Yarn to the back, knit, yarn to the front, slip purlwise all the way down the row. And knit the last one. And there we go, friends. We've done our second set, our second section of 4-row repeating. We're going to do that 4-row repeat 2 more times, so 4 times in total. All right, go ahead and do that 4-row repeat 2 more times, and I'll see you when you get to the end. All right, friends, I have made it to the end and I'm loving it. Looks beautiful. So again, this was Yarnspirations Bernat felted yarn in the colorway Amber Fleck. Now, I'm pretty sure you can still get this one. I've had it in my drawer for a while. So, and this one that we're going to use next is Hometown, Lime Ground Hometown. And this color is Houston Cream. Oh, I love it too. And that's this one. We're going to take that yarn. We are going to switch colors, but in order to do so, we need to cut a tail on this one. I'll cut about 6 or 7 inches, somewhere in there, maybe not quite. I'm going to bring my needle back into the stitches. So when you switch colors, if you put that down into there and walked away for a bit and came back, be sure not to put your yarn on this needle. You need to put it on the needle where your tail is, okay? So our back needle, this is gonna be the one that we're knitting with. Our back needle starts with the tail. So now that we have that in place, we're gonna grab our second color, and this is, it couldn't be easier. We're gonna hold that tail with our finger. We're gonna grab this new tail, and I hold that with my finger too. So I just have them together, and I'm gonna hold it firmly with my finger there, as though this is the yarn that just came off of. No knots, no nothing. I'm going to begin my patterning with this new color. Now here's the thing, we did 4 sets of 4-row repeats here. We're going to do 8 with this new color. Only their ends have 4. So we're going to insert our needle as if to knit. Then I'm gonna yarn it around and pull it through. Just like that. I'm still holding it in the back. I'm gonna knit and knit. You can drop it now because it's not going to go anywhere. And knit all the way down your row. Okay, once you get your first row done, then what I'm going to do is well, let me just show you. Let's just continue on down the road and then I'll show you. So I'm going to finish this up just by knitting all the way across. I'll see you back when I get to the 25th stitch. All right, so I made it to the end of the row, and this loop is looser because of course it's just there. You have to pull on it a little bit so that it's the same tension as the other loops that are across your row there. That's why doing a full row, it helps you to see that. Then I'm just gonna take it and I'm going to tie a knot. I'm not gonna tighten that one too tight because then it'll pull on that, and then I'm gonna tie another one. There we go. I'm going to just let those hang, and then when I have my section done, or however often I want to go ahead and hide them, I do. Some people wait till the end of their project and hide all their tails. I generally do a section and then I hide my tails. So I'm going to just keep going with my 4-row repeat. We just did row 1, which is a row of knitting. Now we're going to do a row of purls. Then we're going to do our row 3 and our row 4 as we did here with knit slip and knit slip purlwise. And you're going to repeat those 4 rows 8 times. We repeated the 4 rows 4 times in this section. Now for this next section, we're going to repeat them 8 times. All right. So that's a total of 32 rows altogether. This one was like we did our setup row, and then 4 times 4, it's 16. Double it. Do 8 sets of 4, giving you 32 rows in total. All right. Have fun. I'll see you back when you get to the end. I have completed that section. Isn't it pretty? I just love it. I repeated my 4-row repeat 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we're going to move on to our next color. But I'm just going to show you how I hide my ends here. I don't do anything special. Where is my needle? Oh, needle. every needle. Where would I be? There we are. I don't do anything special. Some people hide their ends very neatly in the sense that that they follow the stitch patterning somehow, like whatever they do. I don't do that on my knitting projects. I don't do it on my crochet. I don't do it on anything. I just take that one color and I weave it back and forth in through my work. And then I go back the other way. So you have to choose. This is just how I do it. I go back the other way. And I don't pull on it because I don't want to compromise the shape of my project. And then I just go in a little bit more if I can and do it into a third space. Sometimes I only do two, just depends how tight it feels. Sometimes I'll get all three. Just like that. And I'll hide one color into the same color. So now I'm going to hide this one. I'm going to hide it into this color, not into this color. And that's how I hide my ends. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our work. We're going to bring our needle into the loops. I'm going to take that yarn tail and I'm going to hold it at the back, cut it off. Where's my scissors? Cut it off, hold it at the back, grab your new yarn. Now, the next colorway that I'm using is Heartland, Lion Brand Heartland yarn. I have this in my cupboard too, and it's called Sequoia, Sequoia. This is a medium 4-weight yarn, whereas the other yarns that I'm using are super bulky 6. So I am taking 2 strands of each of these. If you only have one ball, then make yourself another ball out of the one ball. Where is my tail here? So that you have two tails coming out. And I'm going to grab my tails. I'm going to hold them together as though they are one. I'm going to do the same thing I did with my other color change. I'm going to hold that with my finger, hold that tail there. I'm going to grab my other needle that's we're going to begin our first row of knitting with into that stitch. Grab both tails together and we're going to yarn over and we're going to knit. And into the next, yarn over and knit. Now I am going to intentionally make this a little bit looser of a stitch. Not too loose. I want to keep my tension pretty as even as possible throughout the project, but I find even a double strand of 2 medium 4-weights are not feeling as thick as one of these. So I don't want my project to be wide here and then to get narrower. So making sure that if you're using a double strand of worsted weight yarn, if it feels like this one, you know, a lot of the acrylic medium 4-weight worsted yarn feels even thicker than this one. I think it's just the brand that it is. It's very soft, so it feels really thinner, much thinner than what our normal worsted weight feels like for some reason. So you have to judge that yourself. But I love the different textures. I love the different colors, the different yarns. I think it makes for a beautiful project, especially in a scarf. So I'm going to knit all the way across. Then I'm going to do the same thing with these tails as I did with these other ones after I get this section done. But here, let me tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take this yarn and we're going to do our 4-row repeat 8 times, just like we did here, okay? So we did our repeat 4 times here, then we did our repeat 8 times here. We're going to use this yarn and we're going to do our 4-row repeat 8 times as well. And once we have those 8 rows done, we're going to cut that off and we're going to add our final color. If you're like me and you're using 4 colors, I am losing everything here. Oh my goodness, where did it go? You guys, it fell off the edge of the table and into my garbage because it's in a little ball. This is the same as this one. It's the Hometown. It's this one, but it's a gold color and I don't have the actual name for it. So you can just search, you know, when you're looking for this same yarn style, or you can use whatever yarn color and choices that you want to use. That's going to be my 4th color. So I'm going to do this one and then I've done this one. I'm going to do 4-row repeat 8 times with this one. I'm going to change yarn and I'm going to do this one, but I'm going to do this one a little bit differently as far as row counts come again. So meet me back once you are at the point of getting to this one, okay? All right, friends, so here's what I've got so far. We have started with our first 4 repeats right there. And then we changed colors. And we did color B, repeating our 4-row pattern 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So each of there's 4 rows in between each of these. Isn't that something? So our 4-row repeat we did 8 times for color B. Then we did our 4-row repeat 8 times for color C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then for color D, this is my panel that is going to be the longest. This is what's going to wrap around the back of my neck. And so I'm doubling that. I've got one more set of 4 to do, one more 4-row repeat to do, but I am doing this one 16 times. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and I have one more time to do it, and I will have completed this. So this middle section in the back is double the amount of rows that these other 2 before it were, okay? So we repeated our 4-row repeat 8 times, 8 times, 16 times. Now what we're gonna do, as soon as we have our section completed here, I'm going to change colors and I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to take this one here and I'm going to do it 4-row repeat 8 times. Then I'm going to do color B and I'm going to do that 8 times. And I'm going to end with this color and I'm going to do it only 4 times. Okay, so pretty simple, but pretty beautiful. Go ahead, finish your middle section. That's as far as I got at this point. I've got, again, one more 4-row repeat to do there. Then I'm going to repeat, so this is color D. So then I'm going to go C for repeating my 4-row repeat 8 times, then color B, then color A. Okay, go ahead, finish that, have fun doing it, and I'll see you back when you're done. I'm loving these colors together. I think that it's just so beautiful. I'm excited to get it done. I have come to the end and I did my 4-row repeat 4 times for that end part. So it's the same length as the beginning, just like that. And now we're going to bind off. So to bind off, what we're going to do is we're going to work a knit stitch on the first 2 stitches. That's 1 and 2. Then I'm going to take this first one that we did. I'm going to put my left needle underneath it, if I can get at it. There we go. And I'm going to keep this finger on to hold this second loop from falling off the needle here, the needle tip. And so we're going to grab that first one and we're going to pull it up and over and let it go. Now we have 1 loop on our needle. We're going to knit another stitch and we're going to take that furthest loop, it's at the back of that needle, and we're going to pull that up and over the loop you just put on that hook. Now we're going to do it again. We're going to knit, take the back one and bring it up and over the end, just like that. Knit the next one. We're going to do this all the way down the row. And take the back one, up and over, and let it drop off. Continue that all the way down your row. Oops, just about lost that one. This yarn is very slippery. That's why I'm trying to be very careful here. And continue on. Taking the second one up over the first one, over the tip of that right needle, and drop it off. just like that. And we're getting a bind off edge that's beautiful. I'm not doing it tight. I'm just having a nice, it looks kind of tight probably in the camera, but I'm trying to keep it a little bit loose, and that's why it's falling off my needles. And then we get a nice, beautiful edge. Continue on till you get to the last one, and I'll meet you back. I have one more stitch to work. So we're gonna knit it. Take the back one over the front one. And then you have one more loop on your needle. You're gonna pull up on that. I'm gonna cut off a tail. I'm gonna take that tail and I'm gonna put it through that loop, and then I'm going to secure. Now all we have to do is sew in our yarn tail. I'm just going to weave it in. That's what I did for all the rest of my project too. I might go down a little bit. Of course, I can get away with it on this fuzzy yarn. I would probably follow a row or make it as neat as possible on yarn that's not fuzzy, that you can see the stitches better, but this is all I do. This is what I do on crochet. This is what I do on my circular knitting patterns. It's what I do in my loom patterns. It's what I do on all my patterns. And then I cut it off. And there you go. You have a beautiful worked edge. You don't even see where it is. All right, so we're going to set this aside, and we're going to make another piece that we're going to put on top so that we have our little pass-through pocket. So we're going to grab our needles. We're going to grab this color of yarn again, and this one we'll need. We're going to make our piece up to here. So we're going to start again, just as we did in the beginning. And we're going to cast on 25 stitches of our first main color, and we're going to knit our 4-row repeat 4 times to get this exact same length. Then we're going to switch colors to color B, this one here, and we're going to do our 4-row repeat 8 times, and we will have a piece that looks like that. There we go, finished. You guys, I love these needles. If you haven't got these needles, you need to get them. If you're looking to get new needles, I would recommend these. They are so beautiful. I just enjoy knitting with them so much. I'll have them linked again in the description below. So they get my thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. All right, I have my section done. Now what we need to do is we need to bind off. Same way we did on our scarf. So we're going to knit 2. We're going to take that first one that we did, and we're going to bring it over the second one, keeping your finger sliding here so that that other one doesn't slide off. And there we go. Let's knit the next one. Then we're going to take the bottom one over the top one. And we're going to knit the next one. And we're going to take the bottom, oops, get in there, over the top. And we're going to do that all the way down our row. This part's fun. I like doing this. And over the top it goes. Do one more with you. Knit it off, then take the bottom one. Put your finger here so that this top loop doesn't slide off your needle. Take that bottom one up and over, like that. All right, have fun. I'll see you at the end. I have 2 more stitches to bind off, and underneath, and there we go. taking that bottom stitch up and over the top one, and there we go. I'm going to go ahead and cut off a little tail, pull up on this loop, take that tail, put it through the loop, and then pull to secure. And there you go. It's perfect. I hid my tail already in the back, and now we're ready to attach this to our beautiful scarf. I just love these colors together. This is so beautiful. Now I'll just tell you that I took my scarf and I actually washed it on a speed cycle in my machine. Tongue tied here. In my machine with a little bit of hypoallergenic laundry detergent. You can use a detergent of your choice, of course. And I then took it and I blocked it on I bought this really cheap exercise mat from the dollar store for $5. It's long, and I placed my scarf on there. I stretched it out widthwise and lengthwise. Then I put it on my mat with the right side facing down, and I smoothed these out and I put pins. I just pinned it down and let it dry. Next time what I would do, and the sides turned out beautifully, but the next time I think I would do it so it's facing up like this, because then I can curl this out completely and pin it down, and I think I would get it even flatter on the sides. So that's what I would do if I were you. I just thought I'd show you both. But I think it turned out perfectly. But you block it the way you like, and you'll get a smoother end or edge on both sides. All right, so now you're going to grab your little pass-through pocket piece, and we're going to sew it on. But we need to put the wrong side of our scarf facing up, and we're going to put the wrong sides together. So the wrong side to the wrong side, just like that. Now you might be wondering, why didn't you just make a longer piece like this? And you can do this for your next scarf if you want. I'll tell you why I didn't. I could have done a double piece here and then done a piece there and then folded it up and just made one seam here. But I like this firm edge from a seam here. So when we sew this together, we're going to get a flatter edge instead of a rounded edge like that. And it works better to put my fringe on, and I just like how it appears doing it that way. So that's why I'm doing it that way. That's why I did it that way. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, with these wrong sides together, we're going to pick up on our edge here. I'm going to leave a bit of a tail there. I can sew it later in case I need to do some tweaks on the corner. Can give that one little tie. And then we're just going to sew it to the other piece. So I'm going to go into the stitch. Actually, I'm just going to pick up the top half of that stitch. I'm going to go into here and I'm going to pick up that stitch right there. Very simple. You might do it a different way, and that's okay. We're going to pick up that next one and the next one. I don't want to get under the brown, just want to pick up the white. I'm going to continue on in that manner all the way down the row to give it a nice snug seam. And pick up that loop. And that's how I'm just going to simply sew it on all the way down. Pull that tight, and there we go. I'll see you at the end. I made it to the end, and the seam looks great. I'm just going to pick up this side one here, go into the side one here, pull it through. This yarn is funny to work with when you get to the end because all the strands untwist, so you have to just be very careful. You can do it though. See how they untwisted? Just takes a little bit of extra patience, but it's worth it in the end. I'm going to tie off another knot. Now, I'll link these metal wool needles in the description box below. Get them on Amazon or in Walmart, either place. Sometimes Walmart goes for very long stretches without having them. I think all the crafters, as soon as they see them in the store, run and grab them. Just like what I did this week. I actually got them at this set at Walmart. They had 3 packages left, so I took them all. And sorry, guys. But when I see them, I grab them. They're like $4 and you get 3 different sizes. And I love them. There we go. So I hid that. Just going to go back a little bit. And one more little pass this way. Cut that off. Just like so. Now I left that other tail because sometimes when I'm sewing it on and I get to the end, I think that one of these sides are, if one of them are jutting out a little bit, then I fix it with this tail, but it looks perfectly fine. So now I'll hide this tail. And I did one tie already at the beginning, so I'm just going to do one more. And then I'm just going to flip this up and I'm going to hide this in here. Grab some yarn that is this color or your first color and put it on your needle, and I'll meet you back and we're going to sew these 2 sides together. All right, so I have my yarn on my needle. I'm going to fold this over. We're going to take a corner here, bring it through, leaving a tail, tie one little knot to secure. And then I'm just going to seam it across. And then we get a nice smooth flat edge instead of a bulky rounded edge like that. And it makes it nicer for putting our fringe on. Or you can leave it without a fringe. I love it with a fringe, and I'm going to show you how I make my fringes and tell you how long the fringe is going to be as soon as we get this together. But I'm going to go through, then I come around, pick up that seam, and the seam on the other side, or the edging I should say. Let's get this little one out of the way and pull through. I've got a weird angle here in the camera, but that's okay. Underneath and pull through. Come around and pull through and pull through all the way to the end. Knot it off, hide both of your ends, and you'll have a nice, beautiful flat seam. I'll see you when you get done. There we go. All finished, and it looks beautiful. Next, what we're going to do is the fringe. I've already done it on this side, and I love it. I think it looks beautiful. We're going to put it onto this side, and how I make my fringes is I take a piece of cardboard, and I'm going to do a 6-inch fringe. I actually did a 4-inch fringe, and I thought it was too short, so I took it off, and I'm going to do a 6-inch, and that's why I did the one side to determine what length I wanted, and I think it's perfect. You're going to cut a piece of cardboard or whatever you have, 6 inches in height. Doesn't matter how long. This is longer than I need it, but 6 inches in height. You're going to take your yarn and you're going to wrap it. Just simply like this. I have all sizes of cardboard for different fringes that I use for different projects, and this is my 6-inch one. You don't want it more than double it or triple it, because then it'll, if you keep going round and round on and pile it up here, then it gets too long. I'm going to cut that off. Then each strand will be longer. Okay, I'm going to cut that off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut. It doesn't matter where, you just need to do one cut, whether it's there, it doesn't matter. So just stick it in there and do one cut. And by doing one cut, you're going to have smaller, the ones on the end will be smaller, but by doing one cut, you now have a longer piece that is 12 inches long. But it's a 6-inch fringe because we're going to take that strand and we're going to put it in half again, just like that. So we're holding it in half with a loop there. We're going to take our crochet hook, which I'm just going to grab this one, and it is 4.5 millimeters. Doesn't really matter. Just grab one that works for you, but I think the narrower ones get in your work a little bit better. Here's my seam. I'm going to go up underneath that seam that I just sewed, just like that. From underneath up to the top, grab that loop, bring it through. Oops, let's try that again. Grab that knot and bring it through. There we go. There's the loop. I'm going to stick my fingers in that loop and I'm going to grab those 2 yarn tails and pull them through. And there we go. I'm going to take my next one. Now let me just give you a little fringe tip. When you go from underneath and come up, this side is harder because it's thicker. The other side has single. And come up, then you're going to grab that loop. You're going to go through. Then when you put your strands through, this loop right here, this little loop right here that my 2 fingers are through, is on top. You see that? It goes over there. And that is the right way to do it. If I went from the top here and went the other way, then well, with this fuzzy yarn, it doesn't make much difference. You don't see it. That's my tail that I didn't cut off well. You don't see it. But when you're using regular worsted weight yarn, or yarn that's not fuzzy, you can see the bar that's over here, and you want that bar to be on this top part on the right side of your work all the way across. And you want to make sure that the same right side is on the other side of your scarf as well. For this next one, you're going to go up, you're going to put your strand in half, you're going to bring it through. You can also hold that on your loop, yarn over, and then take it through that loop, just like that, and then pull. So that bar is going to be right on the top instead of some on the top and some on the bottom. And that's paying attention to detail that's necessary to have a nicer looking project. Again, not necessarily for this yarn because you don't see it, but you still want to maintain those guidelines. I'm going to get that in there, and you're going to evenly space your fringe all across the base. Pull it through, yarn over, take that loop and pass those through, and then really tighten it. And again, underneath that seam that we did, grabbing the loop, bringing it through, pulling those strands through. See that bar? It's at the top, and pulling it through. You're going to evenly space them, and then when you look at it, if you feel you need to add another one, because this one I should have done a little bit closer, but I'm just going to add another one right here. And it'll be fine. Grabbing that loop, pulling it through, and finishing it off. I'm going to do that all the way down my side, my edge. Okay, go ahead, do that. I'll see you when you're done. All right, there we go. The fringe is done. Now, I like some of these jagged edges, some that are a little bit uneven and a little bit longer. I'm not going to trim them up. You can trim them up and make it straight if you like, but again, I think it looks better if you just leave it. Unless you have one that's really long, of course, trim that and make it look a little bit better. And there's the other side. All right, stay with me. I'll show you what it looks like on. And here it is showing you all the colors. You know, friends, this would be a gorgeous scarf in just like a solid color as well. So whatever you choose to do is going to be beautiful. Please be sure and show me in my Facebook group. And if you're posting in other Facebook groups, always add the link so people can find my channel. I would appreciate your support in that very, very much. All right, so thanks again for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I really can't wait to see your scarf. Take care and have a blessed day. I'll see you in the next tutorial.